Hello, everyone. My guest today is Eran Ben Shushan. He is the CEO and co-founder of Bizzabo, an all-in-one event success platform and one of the fastest-growing event tech companies in the world. He's led the company in winning the People's Choice Award at the Event Tech Awards for 3 years in a row. Before this company, he was an event marketer and served as the CEO of the Rosh Hashanah Media Convention. He also was a team leader and systems engineer at Elbit Systems. He graduated cum laude from the Interdisciplinary Center School, where he studied business and participated in the prestigious Zell Entrepreneurship Program, often considered the Y Combinator of Israel. Eran, are you ready to take us to the top?
I am ready.
Is that program by Sam Zell, the real estate mogul?
Yes.
Very good. We've studied the heck out of him, man. That guy just seems like a genius. Did you get to spend meaningful time with him?
I wouldn't say meaningful, but spent enough time to leave a mark.
Very good. Enough so that you can use it to make Bizzabo a $100 million company, right?
Indeed.
All right, very good. All right, talk to us about the company. What does the company do, and how do you guys make money?
Yeah, Bizzabo is a company that is trying to take events to the modern era, which means we all go to those events, professional events, whether they are internal, external, big or small events. There are a lot of inefficiencies at events, and it's not only about functionality. It's also about the data aspect and how can you really leverage the data at events to make them measurable, automated, and personalized. This is what Bizzabo does. We do it by building an end-to-end platform, which is extremely robust. So we take care of everything from your website registration, email marketing, agenda management, mobile app, analytics, you name it. So we kind of build 15 different startups into one startup, which is a very powerful tool and is today the system of record for organizations to manage their events. We sell it under a SaaS annual subscription model, usually multi-year, and that's how we make money, and that's what, in essence, Bizzabo does.
And just because we don't have time to go on every customer cohort, on average, what would you consider an annual contract to come in or out? Like 10 grand, 100 grand, $1 million?
Yeah, so we look at it by different cohorts. We have 3 different cohorts, but I would say across the board, the average is $25K.
$25,000. Okay, very good. So call it maybe $2,000 a month or something like that. Let me ask you a question. Most other event applications like this I've had on the show, with the exception of maybe like Reggie at Cvent and Dan at Social Tables, there's always major churn issues because people will have an event in January, then they will cancel when they don't need your software, then they will re-sign up next January, like when they need it again. So my question to you is, how do you, which by the way, I don't actually consider that churn because they're still paying every year. It's just they cancel in between. How do you measure churn, and how do you keep your, however you measure it, low?
We measure churn just like any other company. I think what you're referring to really depends on the type of customer you're thinking of. We sell to customers, so think about corporations that run dozens of events at minimum annually. And in this case, sometimes we even have customers that run 1,000 events a year, right? Those would be customers that have 3 business events or professional events every business day. They think about Bizzabo or their event platform as something that is recurring, constant, a part of their life cycle and blood circle in their organization. So we think about churn just like any other company that has annual subscriptions.
Okay, so when you look at trailing 12 months, what is, before you add back expansion revenue, what does gross churn come in at about?
Gross churn. So we went through a process in the past year and a half of really identifying what is the sweet spot for us in terms of the right customers, that Bizzabo would be also the right fit for them, right? It's not about what's the right customer for us. It's for what kind of organization Bizzabo is the right tool, and not an overkill or too much, and not too little. So we had to go through a process of deciding and making some difficult decisions about some cohorts of customers that we will need to split ways if they cannot get to a certain level of criteria. And obviously doing it with the utmost respect and being a super customer-centric company. This is something we always believe in. So in terms of gross churn, that would be around, I would say, 80%. And in the past, 6 months or so, negative net churn. So overall, pretty healthy.
So just to be clear, 80% of your revenue over the past 12 months churned?
No. Retention.
I
The
was about to
opposite.
say that'd be not a good position. So
Yeah.
20% churned, 80%
Yeah.
retained. Now the way to get to net negative is you obviously make up that 20% churn with expansion. So what's total expansion been? Something above 20%, I assume.
Yep.
What is it? Like talking like 30% or just barely above 20?
It's between 20 to 25.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Good. So that puts your, said differently, net revenue retention is above 100%, maybe up as high as 105%.
Correct. And that's, and obviously when you look at it quartized by different segments between, SMB to mid-market to enterprise, you would see different ratios, obviously, like, typical to assess business.
Of course. Yeah, of course. That's the nice thing though about net revenue retention is it equalizes ARPU differences, right? It doesn't matter if someone's paying you a buck or $100 million. When if the dollar churns, it's no big deal. If the $100 million churns, that's a really big deal. Talk to me about how you've structured your kind of use cases around expansion. Tell me the story of someone that started off paying you 20 grand a year and they expanded to 40 or 50 grand. Why are they expanding? Is it event volume, number of seats, data play? What is it?
Yeah, so that's, obviously it needs to start from having the right business model in place and thinking about that in the right time and building it into your model. And then it needs to be highly correlated to the value of the platform. I would say that we would see typically two use cases. One is we, on the same team, they would start little with us and then they will give us the rest of the business on the same team of more events, or within an organization, we would have the classic land and expand type of approach where you would go into an enterprise organization, you would start with them with one local team, and then let's say you get 100 events and one or two teams, and then they make the referral, which is there's nothing better than that, to other teams in the organization, and that would be another expansion model.
Yep. Interesting. We jumped into the economics pretty quickly here. Let's put all this on a timeline. When did you launch the company? What year?
We launched the company, first product out to the market was summer of 2012.
Okay.
And we actually started, we had an interesting story, Nathan. We started from trying to solve the problem of people going to events and not knowing who to meet. So, I was an event planner myself, but we were also attending a lot of events. And I'm sure a lot of the people listening to us, and maybe yourself as well, when going to these events, sometimes it can be really frustrating. You're there, everything is left for serendipity and luck, and nothing is really predictive, and there's no science behind it. Although you would think that in 2019, and even back then, 2012, you should be able to have all the tools and all the data out there, whether on social networks or your mobile device or your computer, to run those events in a much better way. But that frankly doesn't exist, and that bothers us a lot. So as entrepreneurs, we said we're going to fix it. But 2 years in, our customers actually told us, you build this great mobile networking app. Why aren't you doing also the other elements of events, which are actually more painful, and we need even more help there, and are even more mission critical to the success of the event, like the website, like registration, analytics, agenda, email marketing, combined with the social aspects and networking aspects. And around 2 years in, so call it mid-late 2014, we realized we have even a bigger opportunity ahead of us, where what's traditionally out there in the market is more of legacy solutions that are focused more on functionality. And we said we're going to build Bizibo to be a strong, holistic, functional platform with an even stronger data infrastructure.
Sure.
And that's how it's built. So that was the timeline. Launched 2012, expanded the model, and became a SaaS company towards 2015.
And around how many customers have you scaled to now today?
Yeah, I can't say exact numbers, but in the high hundreds.
Yeah. No. By the way, a range is fine. So fair to say between 700 and 1,000, something like that.
Around that, yeah.
Very, very good. All right, and then walk me through what the team looks like today. So how many folks?
We have 120 people. Originally, we're from Israel. I guess the name and the accent, but you probably picked on that. But we started the company in Israel. I myself moved here to New York and joined one of the co-founders. We're three co-founders who started the business I joined alone. My co-founder who came here first around 4 years ago. We have around 50 people in the Israeli team. Everything around product engineering and design is based in Tel Aviv. Incredible team, incredible talent. And we're very happy of having this structure in place. And here in New York, we have all the go-to-market teams. So marketing, sales, customer success, client services, and operations.
And how much capital have you raised to build the company, or have you managed to stay bootstrapped?
We raised to date $56 million.
Oh, Eran, brutal, man. I was liking you so much. And then I'm going, oh, he's raised a bunch of money.
We just closed our Series D round earlier in April, a month ago, $27 million round. Yeah.
Why was that the right time to raise more capital?
Listen, the event space is one that it wasn't always obvious that or not. It was initially an uphill battle, I would say, to raise capital. Right, not always maybe the sexiest industry. But over the years, and I think also later on with some of the transactions like Cvent and others, people realize there is a huge market opportunity, and one that is very tied and correlated with marketing automation and CRM and events being a black box. So huge addressable market, not a lot of sophisticated tools in the market to solve the problem, and pretty complex problem to solve. Event planners and in general events are complex. There's a high level of anxiety and the set of tools that they need. So, Bizibo is heavy technology. It has a lot of functionality built into it that we were able to execute well on over the years, and that requires capital. And as for the timing, why now is the right timing? Because Bizibo is, definitely, I'm very proud to say, after hard work and a lot of passion in the past 7 years, is a market leader among modern software for events. And I guess that we and also the investor that participated identified that we're probably the company that has the highest potential to become the next category defining platform and be able to really revolutionize the space. And doing that with additional capital and going after bigger customers and more enterprise accounts and having the means and the capital to build the level of innovation that we have in mind is something that resonated with us as the right timing to raise more.
And how much time do you think you need to break like the $15 or $20 million ARR mark? Within reach?
Yeah, it's going to happen soon.
Yeah, I mean, is it uncomfortable enough where you don't think it can happen this year, or it's a fair stretch goal for this year?
Probably it's going to happen next year.
Yeah.
But very early next year,
yeah. Yeah, no, that's great. And do you think most of that, like when you have your internal kind of strategy discussions, do you think that will come from expansion revenue or new customer logos altogether?
Both.
No, I know, obviously both, but what do you think is going to be a bigger driver, expansion or new?
I think this year more is going to come from new, and probably next year in 2021, we're going to start seeing actually that shifting because the cohorts of more enterprise customers coming on board is going to be more prominent towards or throughout this year, and then expanding them in 2020 and 2021. So that might change the books and the balance a little bit in the future.
Yep. And then when you look at the past 12 months, are you still able to double year over year, or are you getting too big to be able to still do that?
That and above, yeah.
Huh?
We are able and even more. Yeah.
Okay. So past 12 months, you are more than 100% year over year growth?
Yeah.
That's great. Last question here before I capture kind of more of your story and where you see the space going. 700 customers, right, at a kind of $2,000 per month price point.
I didn't say the exact number, but let's call it roughly, yeah.
Well, sorry, you said high hundreds, and I said fair to say between 700 and 1,000. You said sure.
I said around that number, yeah.
Okay, fair. Okay, good. Well, maybe that answers my question, because if it was 700 at the ACV you told me before that, which was about 24 a year or $2,000 a month, that puts you at 1.4 a month, which is 16 a year. It sounds like you're still kind of working towards the 15 mark or something like that. So you have less than 700 customers at this point.
And also remember that the ACV is the current ACV, and historically, that's also a metric that doubled almost year over year over time.
Yeah. Well, and I wasn't asking ACV. I was asking kind of ARPU, average revenue per user per month. So maybe that's a bit, I assume, look, by the way, I don't want to like pin you down here, right? But I want to get the general ranges right. So we're in the right ranges, maybe fluctuate plus or minus 10%.
You are.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Let's move past that. So, you just raised additional capital. When you go out and raise, how aggressive are you being in terms of how many months of burn you want to raise for? Are you a 12-month kind of guy, 24-month kind of guy? What do you plan for?
24, and also thinking about how we can, build a sustainable business. I think that's also important at the level of, company that we're at. I think that we're at a stage in maturity of the business, and from an operational standpoint, that we're able to double or have high growth rate, and also think about building a healthy business with healthy unit economics that can put you in a position to take the business to profitability should you choose to do that.
Mm-hmm. And then, I mean, when you go out and raise the kind of money that you just raised in your head, you guys kind of have where you plan to spend most of that in terms of whether it's more SDRs or more tech people team, build up product features, things like that. How aggressive are you comfortable driving burn up? So, I mean, will you go to the point, would you be comfortable burning $1 million a month for a couple months to, get the growth you need?
I would. And that the reason is because when you have a well-oiled machine that is working and you get strong sentiment from the market and you strongly believe in the long term and the market opportunity, so I strongly believe that's what you need to do. But you need to do it responsibly by measuring yourself, whether leading or lagging indicators, and making sure that you're not going for too long without having a sustainable model behind it.
Yeah. So the number you're really talking about here is kind of CAC and CAC relative to payback period, kind of getting that money back. You have healthy expansion, so you can afford to pay more upfront if you know they're going to stick with you for a while. Will you pay more than a year of ACV to bring them on, or maybe go up as high as 2 years?
In terms of CAC payback, you mean?
Yeah. So if you're doing 24 grand ACVs, are you comfortable spending 50 grand and you get a new $25,000 a year account?
Yes.
Yeah. And why are you so confident when you say that?
Because we know that those who are buying our product really need it, and we feel confident about the LTV.
Yeah. Nope, that makes fair sense. That's the answer I would have given. Very good. Let's wrap up here with the famous five. Number one, what's your favorite business book?
I'll have to say The Hard Thing About Hard Things. Maybe you get it a lot, but I just think it's a phenomenal book.
Number two, actually, I meant to ask you this. I can't imagine, Vista's very aggressive. They just raised $14 billion. They're behind Cvent. They're trying to deploy capital. I know there was a term sheet. There had to have been a term sheet going, Aaron, don't raise $27 million at whatever valuation, sell to us for a premium, whatever, 2, 3, 4, points higher than that. Why did you decide that when you did that raise, it was not the right time to exit?
I think we're going after a big play, and I'm a strong believer in what we're doing, and we want to do it the right way and really change the way events operate.
Raji came on and said they just passed $500 million in AR, aiming at $1 billion. Are you eroding a bit of his revenue, or do you have customers leaving Cvent and joining you guys?
There are, yeah.
Yeah, you can say that with confidence. That's a fun thing to say.
Yeah.
All right.
We prefer staying focused on us and less about, less talking about the competition and caring about, our customers, our employees, and doing the right thing.
Oh, come on, Aaron. If you had 2 customers that you could add tomorrow, and one was a Cvent customer and one was not a Cvent customer, you would take the Cvent customer every day. Every day. Let's just call a spade there, okay? Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
Yeah, I like a lot what Satya Nadella did for Microsoft. I think that that order of magnitude of change for a culture and really picking up a company in such a way is phenomenal.
Number 3, what's your favorite online tool for building your company?
I like the Google collaborative tools, spreadsheets, docs, and phenomenal.
Number 4, how many hours of sleep are you getting every night?
Around 6.
And what's your situation? Married, single, kiddos?
2 kids, married.
Ooh, okay. And how old are you?
I am 40 soon. I'm 39, turning 40 at the end of the year.
Hold on to it, baby. 39 years old. Last question. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
Entrepreneurship is a long journey. And I think 2, if I may. One is when you go after a specific market, just strategize what is the right market for you. It can save you a lot of time and be relentless going after it, and not just being tempted to all the interest that you sometimes get and can be confusing. And the second one, when making hires, think about them at least 4 to 6 years ahead, having the right people in the company. So when you imagine that you have, is that the right person at least 4 years ahead?
Guys, there you have it. Bizobo Aben playing in the event management space, aiming to hit that $15 million run right here, hopefully in early next year in 2019, 2020. Hopefully they can do that. They just raised 27 million extra bucks. Eran is happy to drive burn up to even $1 million per month if he has to, because he understands his economics are sound, and they are 20% revenue churn annually, 25% expansion, so 105% net revenue retention. He's happy to pay up to 2 years of ACV to get that customer on board. Currently 120 people, again, building the company between Tel Aviv and the States. Eran, thank you for taking us to the top.
Thank you very much, Nathan. And we call it event success, not event management. We believe that's the future. Thank you very much.